Hi everyone, it's Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9 finale chat with a little bit of death predictions sprinkled in. You know that stream at the end of the day where everybody has been participating, having a good time, and this is the wind down stream. This is the wind down stream. It started early this morning. We were going nuts, man. We had coffee with Killshot early this morning. We were ranting. We were raving. We freed Negan today. We had some twisted stories at 5 o'clock. And then we had a Rick Grimes radio prediction. And hopefully, if you guys have not had a chance to go back and watch all those, get back and watch them. And if you see somebody participating, talk about their chat. Get involved. They're not watching it live. Not everybody can watch every video. We understand that. But it's certainly been the last couple days, a lot of content, a lot of discussion. Instead of, having 3-4 hour long discussions, we've broken it down. I do have an announcement. I always have an announcement, right? My announcement this time is that tomorrow night will only be 2 streams. I know some people are like, what are we going to do? I'm sure we'll find something to get by. We'll be back on a more normal schedule tomorrow, 8 o'clock and 9:30. Thursday night, we will be 8 o'clock and 9:30 as well. Friday night, we will be doing Freestyle Friday at 8 o'clock. Saturday morning, Coffee with Kills again. And then Sunday will be absolute madness. We will be streaming, you name it, man. We're going to be doing 9 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then, of course, our reaction video, which, if you guys have been a part of our reaction videos, 10,000 people in our last reaction video. It was absolute madness and chaos. So we're expecting another full house. Just be ready. And then Monday is going to be madness too, because there's a lot of things that are going to go down. Let's get into some death predictions. So you guys can see we got a big 3 up on the screen, and I'm not comfortable with all 3 of those people making it. So I do have to ask, if you had to pick one of those 3 that might not see Season 11, which one of those 3 would you be most likely to pick? You don't have to take a writer's perspective. You can take your own personal, the person that you might not want to be there. Thank you, RJ Guerrero. Appreciate that. Thomas D says Rosita. Father G, Siddiq. Wow, we're not going to be unified on this one either. A lot of Father G's coming in there. A lot of Father G's. I didn't add Eugene to it because Eugene is valuable. I don't know that the other 3, Siddiq is valuable. Siddiq's a doctor. I retract that. Dr. Siddiq has to make it since Enid's dead. And Eugene is the one making the radios. So, I think Eugene will be around for... you know what, Dark Stark? I'm just gonna agree with you. I'm not gonna read it. Derek Patterson, super chat, and it says Father G. But we got a couple other that may be minor, but there's an interesting storyline, and we'll get to some other potential deaths. So the kingdom has fallen. Ezekiel's finally decided to move his people out. But there's an interesting conversation that just popped up there's another sneak peek that's out. You guys can check it out on AMC. Carol is not happy about the borders. And Carol specifically said we didn't agree to those borders. Those are her borders. That certainly sounds like war. It certainly sounds like Carol is ready to cross. Now, is it possible that Alpha selected a border area that will not let the kingdom get to the hilltop? Did she strategically pick that border, and now they're going to have no choice but to cross her border in order to get there? Did she stack the deck? Did she put the odds in her favor? I feel like she did. I know earlier we were talking about her moving the goalpost or possibly kingdom. No, I think what she did was she said, hey, you cross this river, you can't get to Hilltop unless you go through my territory. She might have set it up for a negotiation. She might have expected them to come up and, hey, Miss Alpha, we would like to cross. Can we offer you anything? Or she might have just did it to say, you're just going to be stuck on that, and we're gradually going to starve you out. Because there's something interesting that's going on with Alpha. And Karen, Rife, I think you're right. But here's kind of the way I see it. I know she's crazy. But do you feel like Alpha needs her prophecy to come true without her doing too much to influence? Think about that for a second. Alpha it's like she's an animal, and what do animals do with their food? What do wild animals do with their food before they eat it? And they've made the comparison to Alpha being animalistic. She's playing with her food. Because it's been said multiple times, Alpha's got this point across to Lydia. What did she say? She goes, walls don't protect you. And what else did Lydia say? Places like this, they don't make it. They don't survive. Alpha could have unleashed the walkers and killed everybody. She could have decapitated the leaders. But here's the thing with Alpha that you guys have to understand. Of all her twistedness and all her evil instincts and all her nature, she wants to allow it to fail to prove that her prophecy is correct. She's got to have something to believe in, and she believes in nature, and she believes that they will be overcome, and I don't need to kill them. But she keeps changing the rules. So she's playing a little bit, but then sitting back and watching it happen for her own satisfaction and to prove it to all the people that follow her. Because now it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't attack the Alpha. You don't question the Alpha. The Alpha has to provide. The Alpha has to lead. This is the way it is. But these people watching that see it happening, those are the type of stories that they're going to tell their kids. As this devolved group continues to devolve, not evolve. In her mind, she thinks it's the second evolution, but they're actually going backwards. But when Alpha's not the leader any longer, the next person is going to have to tell these stories and keep it going. Killing is too easy. She's beyond it. And these borders and the evil nature of how she went about marking those borders and then starving them out, almost watching them. You guys are weak. Look, a little bit of snow, a little bit of weather slows you down. You guys are weak. You have no chain of command. You argue with each other. You kill each other. You can't protect each other. I mean, she kind of said it to Daryl, right? How many called on to that argument about Daryl being able to protect Lydia? Alpha doesn't believe that Daryl can protect Lydia. She doesn't believe that anybody in that group can protect anybody. But occasionally, as a leader, she's got to sit back and she's got to let it play out for everybody's sake. Just catching a couple of comments here to get included in this video. So I do want, before the end of this video, I want to talk about Angela Kang's most recent comment because I think it is phenomenal. And I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think that the episode's going to end on a death note. I do think we're onto something with the radio, and I'll get to the quote in a little bit. But if we start talking about the radio too much, the whole stream will be about the radio. And I do want to talk about some of the deaths. So you still got this kid Gage. Does he certainly, he seems like the person that's going to get the group in trouble. So you got him kind of in the background. But there's almost no doubt in my mind that they are going to cross into Whisper territory. Can we all agree on that? That this is going to be about trying to get back, trespassing, Alpha seeing them trespass, and then sitting back and watching is not good enough anymore because now she's got to follow through with her promise and she's got to kill him. So it appears that the trespassing and the gray area around that was one of the questions that I had is if Alpha's letting them go, she's giving them a warning, what are they going to do to provoke her, or is she going to change the rules? And I think that conversation with Carol, it was subtle, but at the same time, what's the old saying? About how easily a war could be started. Loose lips sink ships. I think that's what it is. So Carol just made a minor comment that would have went unnoticed, probably by a lot. But it said that those are her borders. We did not agree to them. So Carol's pretty much saying, what's the big deal? We're just going to cross. She doesn't understand how big of a deal it is to Alpha. That is a territory. That is something you don't do. Let me throw this out there for the Army. This is how it works. Alpha probably has a few hundred people. Alpha has a couple thousand walkers. If the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and that straight line is a mile that goes through Alpha's territory into the hilltop, and you have the option to walk 20 miles out of the way, in most normal circumstances, you better walk 20 miles out of the way. But here's where this is where it's more beautiful, and this is the wonder of the writing this week. Because you've got this gray area of Alpha's territory and Carol not agreeing with their territory. But the beauty in the writing, what forces the group to trespass? It is so ironic. It is beyond irony. The snowstorm, exactly. Nature, the same nature that Alpha is counting on will overtake these people is the same natural elements that are going to force them to trespass, which is going to ultimately lead to the war. It's beyond perfect. You couldn't ask for a better script. They avoid, and then they don't have any food. They got to get to Hilltop. They can't make it. If they take the long way and avoid Alpha, they die. If they go across Alpha's territory, they cause a war. What do you pick? It's like pick your poison. And you even hear the actor saying, if we don't get here, we're not going to make it. They see the desperate nature of their circumstance. We got a super chat up here. And it is, who says you? Question, if Siddiq was supposedly so in tune with Carol wouldn't ask twice if it wasn't important. And he knows Henry is on a pike. Why wouldn't he have stopped her from climbing the hill? I don't think, and I'll go back. I honestly, says who you, I have not dug in to the Siddiq, real, not real, traitor, not traitor. I don't think he knew about the pikes because he was knocked out, he was tied up. So I don't think he was knocked out, woken up, watched the decapitation. I think they fought. I don't think they made it a ritual or a ceremony. Now, at first, they were all held captive. And then, when Ozzy and his men came in, this is the way I understand it, people were picking up dirt, throwing it in their face. There was a fight. They got this brief little moment. Some people were cut. Some people were killed. Some people fought longer than others. Siddiq was knocked out. He was not one of the ones who was killing a lot of people. Let's put it that way. So, my understanding is he got tied to a tree, probably didn't know why the hell he was tied to a tree. And they all went up the hill and experienced the scene, the death. It's going to be a Morales. There's nothing they can do to not make it a Morales. But let me say this. Says who you says he pointed to the hill. Spoiling Dead's fan page. If you guys want to know the history behind the Siddiq traitor and the closure to it in my mind, there's two things. Because maybe a lot of you guys only know half the story. Okay? So, we're not going to move past it, I don't think. But let me see if I actually have it. Because I want to see who posted it. I think it might have been, I think it was Ninja Pancake, actually, that posted it. And the original post said they want to get it out for discussion because a source had said that Siddiq could be a traitor. Okay? Not everybody bought into it. A lot of people shot it down. We did a video. We talked about, could Siddiq potentially be a traitor? How could it happen? Could he have given up locations? All of the above, okay? It was something that was interesting to talk about, to see how it was going to play out. Then, as you see it play out, you realize it's the most ludicrous thing that you've ever seen. There's no way that he gave them locations. There's no way that that was because of Siddiq. It was Alpha doing what Alpha does. There's also another post from people that are involved in the show. And I think all the way as high up as Angela Kang has said, the way Siddiq explained it is the way it happened. Now, I don't know what else you need. I really don't. And this is not just for Says Who You that super chatted it, because as Damon is saying, he made up the story all in caps. And I'm sorry, Damon, but if Angela Kang goes on record and says the way he said it is the way it happened, then you can put the whole line in caps, and I can't give what you say more credibility than what Angela Kang says. So I don't know why it's still important. I don't know why it's still a topic. Because we're keeping it as a topic. And I can tell you, we can do a stream and we can talk about it. And tomorrow there'll be another video about it. And there'll be another conversation. It went from Siddiq's a traitor, and then it kind of got winded down a little bit. And then it went to, well, maybe he's not telling the whole story because the expression's on the people's face. And then it got to a point where Angela Kang went on record and sent it out and had other people talking about it, that the way it happened, the way Siddiq articulated it is the way it happened. And for that, I'm fine. So as a follow-up, Avi and Scott got really nervous on Talking Dead when the question was asked. Angela said the way they died was exactly the way it happened, not that he wasn't a traitor. I saw it differently than that, actually. When I saw Talking Dead, I saw the question get asked, was Siddiq a traitor? And he said, no, they're not. And then when I saw Scott Gimple, it was almost like he wanted to, he even said something along the lines of, it appeared that way. It could appear that way. I think he was very conscious in saying, I understand why people are talking about it. But I kind of saw it exactly the opposite of that. Only reason I'm asking is a description for next week. So, I mean, it's talked about. I mean, don't get me wrong. And in one of the previous streams that we did, I don't remember which one because we did a bunch of them. And earlier today, I said, first and foremost, I won't even entertain the idea of it being a traitor situation because there's nothing I saw that made him look like a traitor. But then the conversation came up and people were saying, okay, is it possible that he changed the story to make them look a little bit more heroic? And I said, okay, that's something that's a little bit interesting to me. That would be a possibility. And then I saw the post that said, the way he explained it is the way it happened. And so I'm done with it. I mean, I went from A to B to C, and then by the time we get to C, so the enemy within, the question that I have is if there was never a post by Spoiling Dead's fan page that even got us talking about it, would we be saying that Siddiq could possibly be the traitor within based on this week's summary? So I get where you're going with it. I fully understand. But it's a hard story for me to really gravitate to, and I don't think it's a story. There was a time before the spoiler, or before the rumor started, let me ask you guys this question. Before the Siddiq thing ever came out, do you guys know who the traitor was rumored to be? It wasn't Negan. There was an original version of this story that came out. The traitor was originally Father G. Father Gabriel was the person that was going to sell out. He was the one, and then it went from him to Siddiq. So had the Siddiq thing never even been brought up, it would have been Father G. And you're right, then it was Ozzy after that. But yeah, Gabriel was the one that I remember seeing months and months ago. And he knows some stuff. But, I mean, let's follow up with that. If the Siddiq news wasn't out there, I know Lydia hasn't been there for a long time, but why not Lydia? Doesn't say a traitor from within. It says an enemy from within. Would you say that Negan could still be considered an enemy from within? As a follow-up, I never said I heard the spoiler of a traitor, just how I felt. I would draw the question to avoid bogging you down. No, I mean, I think it's fair, but says who you, I guess, my follow-up question to you would be, have you heard that being discussed? Because you might have even been in a stream that we talked about it. I mean, we talked about it, I think, at least 2 streams. I'm not saying that before I saw the episode, I was open to it. After I saw the episode, I wasn't. And, that may be the opposite of you. I mean, you may have been, hey, I don't remember talking about it, and then after I saw it, that's kind of the way, that made me a little bit more curious because it was odd the way it went down. And there were some odd things that were happening. The speech was very odd to me. How he changed the tone in the speech. But, I have to evaluate Siddiq based on what I know for sure. And we're on the topic, so let's not avoid the topic. 'Cause, I mean, I think it's important. So let's do what we normally do. And maybe it'll help me kind of get a better grasp, and it'll help some of you guys that aren't sure. And here's what I want to do. Let's take the emotion, the situation, and the spoilers out of play. We'll remove all of those things. And we're going to funnel Siddiq. All right. But before we funnel Siddiq, you guys, Siddiq the like button. We're going to Siddiq this like button, and then we're going to funnel this down the way that we know how to do it. Why is he hiding something? Angie? What's he hiding? Dude got smacked in the head. All right, so let's get started with it. Okay. What do we know about Siddiq? Couple traits here. He was an outsider. A lot of people accused him of being a whisperer because he was out there in the woods. Siddiq was saved by Carl, right? There's a Carl connection. He's a doctor. He's helped people. Jason, we don't know his backstory. We do know his backstory. His mom honored people by killing the dead. Carl gave his life to save Siddiq. Siddiq helped Aaron with a robotic arm. Delivered some babies. He's on the council. He's trusted. Fought against the saviors. Loyal. I'm loving this. So we got loyal. He's a doctor. Attachment to Carl. So let's dig up some dirt on Siddiq. Okay, give me the Siddiq dirt. What's the dirt on him? Give me his bad traits. What has he done wrong to people? Angie Oman says trauma kills nothing bad. So hold on, says who you. We'll get to that. I want to get to that super chat. Wasn't he supposed to be watching Judith? Why'd he leave, even if he was baited or tricked? Hold on, we're going to get to that. Before we get to the current episode, Kristen Gallo, blame Rosita. blamed Siddiq. How do you know it wasn't Rosita's choice? Said, got Rosita pregnant and left. that if that's not making an assumption, I don't know what is. I thought it was Rosita. When he was out there worried about her and shit, when we were having fun. It's cool. It's cool. No dirt on him? He didn't marry Rosita. Come on, you guys are stretching here. I'm still getting attributes. He doesn't use condoms. Really? I mean, are you guys really that desperate to find some dirt on Siddiq? And he probably plays old dirty bastard in the background. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. I mean, is that going to be next? You don't like his soundtrack when he's doing Rosita wrong and fathering her children and then hitting the road and taking on his medical duties? Okay. So we don't have a lot on Siddiq, which is about the conclusion that I came to as well. And then out of the blue, we get this spoiler post. Nothing but love for Spoiling Dead's fan page because they were particular in the way they said it. Ninja had posted and it said, I've got this information from a source about Siddiq potentially being a traitor and giving up some information. Not confirmed. We will discuss it. I want to get your thoughts on this. Pretty simple, right? So, what do? Those of us that do videos, we talked about it. And I liked it. I liked the idea. I thought, okay. And we talked about scenarios of how Siddiq could be a traitor. How many people were here when we talked about it? How many people remember the scenarios? Because we were trying to find out how they would get to the fair. That was our video. And we're like, okay, maybe the Whisperers are on the way to the fair and they hijack them and then Rosita could potentially be in trouble. Siddiq works out a deal. Him and Rosita leave, or they kill Rosita in front of him. He begs for his life, or Father G dies and he sees that. And then all of the above. That's kind of what we talked about, right? So we're kind of entertaining the idea. And then the next thing you know, well, they're all at the fair. So when Alpha was kind of making her rounds, there's the assumption that she found ways to lure people out. So here's my question, based on what we know. And this goes back to Says Who Used Super Chat. How did Alpha get Frankie to leave her baby behind? Her child behind in order to capture her? Certainly somebody knows. We don't know. How did she get Enid? How did she get Enid to leave and walk away before going and watching Alden? We don't know. How about Henry? So we don't know. We don't know any of this. No, Andrea, you're getting maybes in there. Maybe pretending she was... I mean, I get it. I get it. You're fine. But there's a maybe. She lured them one by one, and it's kind of a mystery. So, is it possible that Alpha made a deal with Frankie, and Frankie lured the people out one by one by pretending that she needed some help? Is it a possibility? Is it a possibility that Frankie was the traitor? And Alpha just decided to kill the traitor? Why not? Why is it not possible? Seriously. You're killing me, Damon. Why is that not any more possible than Siddiq being a traitor? It's the same possibility. Because it doesn't fit your profile of a traitor? It doesn't... She wasn't up there giving a speech. It's not conceivable that Siddiq could have been knocked out and not known what happened. Of course it's possible. So you leave the traitor alive. It's probably going to be one of those topics, to be perfectly honest with you, that we're just going to start avoiding whenever we do the videos because it consumes. And I would be lying to you if I didn't say that there was some personal bias, maybe not in here, but there is some personal bias that is going into the Siddiq being a traitor theory to a degree that even the showrunner has come out and said that that's not what happened. The way he saw it is the way it happened. And it's not going to stop. I mean, I don't know what you need other than Angela Kang. Maybe you need God beaming down and looking you in the eye and saying, this is the way it happened. You can, hold on. Stuff and Things is the resident expert on mannerisms. You can tell by his mannerisms he was lying. You mean that you can tell by his mannerisms? Because I would probably say there's at least 360 other people in this chat that didn't see that in the mannerisms. So I'm just kind of wondering, for you specifically, what in his mannerisms were so evident to you that weren't evident to everybody else, to 95% of the people? Just want to know. Kept blinking, looking up the sky. You're a funny dude, man. The enemy from within will appear in this coming episode. Either way, if I'm wrong, that's fine. Apologies for the topic. I'll show myself out. It means there's an enemy, certainly. I'm at a loss. I don't know where to go with this one. Usually, usually I got a crafty comeback. I don't have anything for this. I think it's just I've been fighting it. I've been fighting it all day. And certainly there's people that have a right to the argument. And I'm not saying the masses are always right. And in fact, stuff and things, I will say there are times when the majority can be wrong. I don't think in this case, and, for Says Who You, and look, we debate back and forth. I can disagree with Says, and he can disagree with me, and we'll figure it out at some point. But I'm trying to understand, and I'm trying to see it from that perspective, but I don't. And I'm really making an honest effort prior to it. I mean, we set up the video and we talked about it. So it's not like it was a topic that we were skating around or we were potentially avoiding. Well, it's because there's various degrees of it. And there's a big difference between someone who betrays you and someone that fabricates the story. And I think here lies the problem of the small percentage of people that don't believe Siddiq. That group is even split 50-50. William, the Walking Dead billboard says Who You down the hall 7 miles. I'm kidding. Death predictions. Well, William, I think Says Who You is probably giving the segue to the death prediction. That because Siddiq is a traitor, that this week he's going to die. Somebody's going to be on to him. It would be interesting if that were to play out. I don't feel like it's going to, and because I don't feel like it's going to, I think this is going to be a lingering topic for longer than it needs to be. And you know what? If by some stretch of the imagination he gets called out, or Daryl knew something, or they go back and it's like, hey, why'd you get hit in the head? You should have been on that pike. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to eat my words. Steph, I really wished you wouldn't have deleted that comment. As gross and inappropriate as it was, I kind of wanted that challenge to be up there. That was from Carrie. Carrie, sorry we couldn't let that comment stay. But there was certainly a strong bet that if Siddiq is a traitor, that something would come through. Hang on. Deborah Johnson says, we're overthinking it. Enemy from within was alpha, in my opinion. No traitor. Had to super chat it, KCF. And, sometimes we do stall in some of these debates because you get to where there's a group of people trying to convince another group of people that they're right, and there's another group of people trying to get their point across. And in most cases, I have to tell you, in most cases, I really try to be neutral. And the reason I'm not as neutral on this is because I was doing a Siddiq could be a traitor video before I saw it with my own eyes. And I changed my perspective after I saw the story play out, not before. If there would have been, different circumstances, I think I would have been more open to it. But it was, don't get me wrong. I said for years that Morales was done, and I was wrong about that. Funny that they brought it back, but I also said that Rick would never lose his arm, and I can't tell you how many times we had people come in super chat, Rick is going to lose his arm this season. Rick's going to lose his arm. And I just don't know if the Siddiq being a traitor is going to be like that thing that every time we see him, we're going to wonder if Rick is going to lose his arm. That's all. Says you, on topic, I think all three on screen could still die. So if all three die, what is Siddiq going to die of? Being a traitor? Maybe? I don't know. Give me a... Let's get some death predictions. If all three die, I would say it's highly unlikely it's going to happen in 16. After 10 pikes and a lot of whispers that died, Kills is always changing my mind. No deaths. Civilian. Siddiq told Michonne he wanted to go with them when they were leaving the fair to find the missing people from Hilltop. Why would he betray them? There were some good points about, how they could be lured out. But here's the question, okay? Hang on. I think I got something. It might not be enough to turn the tide, but it might. So hold on. Let me see if I can. I haven't went back and watched the scene to really break it down. Hang on a second, Deborah C. I might have something. So the people that don't trust Siddiq, it's only a few. Then you would kind of be acknowledging that DJ, Alec, and Ozzy, that never happened. They never came in, and it was just some imagination thing, right? Because if Siddiq's a traitor, then they wouldn't come in and give them a split second, and they wouldn't have fought back. Would that be a wise assessment? I mean, if the people were captured, and he was a traitor, then that would have never went down. So, right, the circumstances. It probably would have meant that he knew about the pikes and that Alpha would have taken Ozzy and Alec and DJ separately. But then my question would be, if that never happened, then how would he have known about them? If Alpha took them and killed them, and he didn't see them come in to try to save them, he never would have been in that situation because he didn't know that they were out there. He didn't know how the group split up. It could have been anybody in that situation. So we've got a couple more super chats. Daryl Stoltz says, shocking twist in the finale would be Lydia luring Ezekiel away from the group, meeting up with Alpha and Beta. Lydia kills Ezekiel in front of them, proving to her mother she was not weak and rejoins the Whisperers. Interesting. How do you guys feel about that? Is it more believable that Lydia could switch back? Is that a possibility? We'll talk about that. Tommy, Man Bum McCandless. I'm wearing my Trust Siddiq onesie kills. We're going to go from RJ is real to Trust Siddiq. Tobin McLeod, Jerry and or Nabila. And who remembers me? Everybody remembers you, Tobin. I think you actually did you change your name to Tobin after Tobin became a walker? Welcome back. Lydia possibly taking Carl's story. Why did Alpha keep him alive? See, this is the ongoing. It'll never die. I want to be haunted. Thank you, Ninja Pancake. This is all you're doing. If you never would have posted that post and had us all talking about it, you know what? I say that in jest, and now there's going to be like 100 little trolls go back to Ninja Pancake and say, Kills just said it was all your fault because you made that post. That's the way things happen. Lydia only wanted to stay because of Henry. So what's to keep her there now? You know, that's funny. I guess it could in a backward sort of way. Henry did not find his place and was looking for a place to fit in. And now Lydia might have been looking for her place, and because Henry's gone, and because Carol doesn't trust her, and because Gage was mean to her, it's a great point. Can Lydia change? Can Lydia change that fast? Or with people that clearly don't like her? Or would it be easier to go back and become the alpha? I can't stop. I'm on a roll tonight because I'm seeing people say, Lydia's not evil. I trust evil. Siddiq is a traitor. I can't quit. I can't let it rest. I have to talk about it. Siddiq has never done anything wrong. This girl has eaten worms. She's walked around. She's completely motionless while Alpha decapitates one of the Whispers. She doesn't step in and try to defend them because that's the way things go. But yet, there's zero possibility Lydia could have an evil bone in her body and betray the group and go back to Alpha. But there's like a big possibility that Siddiq could do it. I'm just at a loss. All right, this is gonna turn into a rant. I'm gonna get back to the super chat. I think at this point, I think half the people that are saying it don't even believe it. I think they're like, we're going to get this guy worked up. We're going to troll him all night long. Wolverine says, I like Siddiq and hope he isn't a traitor. I did find it odd when they found him tied to a tree, however. He took them straight to the pikes without saying anything before, like he knew what happened, unless she knocked him out after. I do have to respond to the super chat, though. Just help me. Just help me with one comment, and then I swear to you, I'm moving on. We're not going to take a vote, but I just have a question. Is it possible, even a small percentage possible, that when Siddiq had blood flowing from his head and he was tied to that tree, is it possible that a walker could have came up and eaten Siddiq while he was tied to the tree? That's all I want to know. Yes or no? Doesn't matter whose blood it was, Damon. Is it possible that a walker could have walked up out of the blue, one stray walker out of the woods, and eaten him. The people said no. Why is it not possible? Why is it not possible that a walker could eat someone tied to a tree? When Rosita was knocked down in the woods and hearing the voices, it wasn't possible that a stray walker could have came up and eaten her? Of course it's possible. I'm not talking about Alpha controlling the walkers. I'm talking about when he was tied up to the tree and they were all taking them, taking them wherever they're going to take them, and nobody was guarding Siddiq. It's not possible that just one hungry walker could have came out of the woods and saw Siddiq sitting there, and it would have ruined Alpha's plan, and then Siddiq would have been eaten, and that story would have never happened. Just don't think it was well planned out. I think she's probably like, I'm going to tie you up. They find you. If you get eaten, you get eaten. Wolverine. Whoa, holy Toledo, man. This is a crazy super chat. So whatever the super chat is, we're gonna talk about it. It's going to be our super chat spotlight. Wolverine says, also, in the speech, say they fought back instead of we fought back for our lives. But he did look injured, so could have fought back, but didn't show since survive could be nothing. He wanted to point out they kept up the good work. And Wolverine, I think it's a great point, and it's a great point to super chat. And that's probably the argument that I was okay with this morning, because I backed away from the Siddiq argument and I went to maybe he wasn't telling the entire story. And then when I saw the post earlier today that said that Angela Kang, and there's an outcry over it, kind of like they had to go on record. You guys realize that because of some of the rushed and some of the plot holes that happened, especially with RJ, do you guys realize how the RJ fake thing went away? And please, humor me. If you know what eventually, when it was trending on Twitter, when it was being talked about, you know what killed that story? The showrunners. They said, you will see him. He is very real. He is their child. And then do you know after that happened? Do you know what the sub-theory was to that? I mean, I was here. I saw the predictions. I saw the chat. It was, baby's not Rick's. Baby's somebody else's. The flashback scene, you guys are going to see it. Something happened to Michonne. And then we saw the flashback scene, and it wasn't. So, I think it's so new and it's fresh in people's minds. But the fact that they're going on record already saying that the way he explained it is the way it happened, to me, it brings closure. So I got another super chat in here. Darkon says, off topic, but isn't weird how Rachel leads Oceanside now? What happened to Cindy and Beatrice? That's a great question. And if I can go a little bit more off topic, then you're off topic, and then we'll wind this thing down a little bit, because I think we've had too much fun. I think it's contractual. I feel like you're going to see Cindy and Beatrice in season 10, but why not sign them to a contract? I mean, why pay them for one episode when they're not going to be a part of the story. Just let somebody else go represent them and then tell the Oceanside story in season 10. Because I do think the Oceanside story is going to be a big deal when Rachel said, come out to the ocean and train them there. Never Grow Up news. Do you think RJ will communicate with Rick? I do. We did a video on it at 8 o'clock. I think Rick will come through the radio. I mean, I know it's kind of a bold prediction. All right, so here's the deal, everybody. We have went 1 hour on this tonight. Very passionate topics. So I'm going to go on record right now of saying we're going to call a truce to this conversation. If more evidence surfaces and it's obvious, then we're not afraid to talk about it again. But I think at this point, we're kind of spinning our wheels a little bit, and it's becoming more, I think, I hope, I saw, and I just think there's got to be more to it. If something does come out in 16 that is a clue or something obvious that's not just a little bit much speculation, then, hey, we'll jump all over it. I mean, we're not afraid to talk about it, but also, when you're kind of beating it over and over again, that didn't sound right. It has been a long, do not beat it over and over again. Let me just say that. We're doing this live. When you're I didn't want to say beat a dead horse because I thought that was going to be too animal cruel. So I left the horse part out. And yes. All right. Anyway, with that being said, this has been a long day. We're going to be back tomorrow night and at 8 o'clock. We're not going to do a coffee with Killshot. We're going to do a 8 o'clock stream. We're going to do our bold predictions tomorrow night. Hopefully, those bold predictions will not be completely devoured by the Siddiq theories that are out there. I think we can come up with some other predictions. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Do me a favor. I'm not going to say what you guys are saying for the like button, but I will say pike the like button. And no, Al, but thank you for your interest in that. I'm sure that's something you would certainly like to know the answer to, but yeah, I'm not going to divulge that information. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. Some special shout-outs to all the Patreons. You guys are amazing. Tremendous support. The channel members, I'm looking forward to getting a 999 superfan emoji. Super chatters, absolutely incredible tonight. Thank you. Amazing comments and chat. Even the ones we don't agree with, I appreciate you guys super chatting and say, you know what? I'm passionate about this, and we're going to talk about it. And hopefully we talked about it at pretty good length. I feel like the topic has been covered pretty thoroughly. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything you guys do. I think I'm going to get a little bit of rest, and we'll do this at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace.